All right. The creative minds behind Live from Our Living Rooms, that would be Sirintip, Thana Alexa, and Owen Broder, are here to talk about this amazing initiative that presents musicians of the highest caliber in virtual performances to audiences worldwide, providing alternative revenue streams for musicians during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Brian Zimmerman, and this is the Jazziz Last Call. Okay, and as always, before we get into today's conversation, just want to let you know about a new album from ECM Records. This one is by the trio of pianist Carla Bley, saxophonist Andy Shepard, and bassist Steve Swallow. It is called Life Goes On. Really a beautiful mix of composition and improvisation. The heart of this thing is a four-piece suite called Life Goes On. And really, in terms of trios, it's hard to find more simpatico group. It's a beautiful record, and you can learn more about it for yourself at ecmrecords.com. Wanted to also let you know about our summer 2020 issue, which is on sale now. It's on newsstands now, and it has been mailed to subscribers. So, subscribers, you should already have one in your mailbox or on your coffee table. This one is all about the age of fusion. We got a nice little cover story on Chick Corea in there. All of the content from this print issue is available as web articles on our website, jazziz.com. You will need a digital subscription to read them, but fortunately, we're offering a special subscription rate for Jazz's Last Call viewers. Right now, for just 99 cents per month for 3 months, you can unlock unlimited digital access, which means you can read all the articles from this issue and previous issues. Plus, we'll enroll you to receive a complimentary print issue come fall 2020. Our Fall 2020 issue is coming out in September. It is all about the art of the album, listening to albums, producing albums, collecting albums, album cover art. And yeah, you sign up now, you get all the digital issues from this issue and previous issues, and a nice 100-page collector quality print issue in your mailbox come September. All right, like I said, my guests today, we have a trio of guests today. They are Sirintip, Thana Alexa, and Owen Broder. And together they created Live from Our Living Rooms in response to the COVID-19 pandemic as performances were canceled and venues closed indefinitely. Live from Our Living Rooms offers a platform for creative exchange designed to help fill the gap for struggling musicians by providing paid performance and teaching opportunities to professional artists and to raise relief funds that bring the joy of music live streams from New York City artists' homes to audiences anywhere in the world. They are here joining me from New York City. So let's go ahead and welcome them to The Last Call. Sirintip, Thana, Owen, are you there? Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to The Last Call. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a long-standing tradition around here that one of the first things we do on the show is a toast, celebrate someone, some place, some idea, something. So who, what, where, when, why are we honoring with this glass?
I think we should honor all the musicians who are out of work right now and struggling and trying to make the most with what they have and connecting like we are right now online.
Cheers to them.
Very Cheers. Nice.
Cheers. And to all of you.
And to you too. Okay, this is an amazing thing you guys are obviously doing with Live from Our Living Rooms. But I kind of want to start back at the source. So, Sirintip, take me back if you can when these lockdowns were first, coming into place. What made you want to, collectively start up this initiative? And what really was it in response to? Because a lot of people know that the gigs were canceled, but what does that really mean for a working musician,
I think what it really means for a working musician to not have work is, first of all, we're all social beings. We love making music with each other. So that's a really rough one. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but we really need each other to play and to kind of stay creative. And I know that a lot of musicians right now in hindsight are really struggling with staying creative because of the isolation. But then second of all, it's really about paying rent and paying food. A lot of musicians don't have a huge savings account. So when something like this happens, even if it's just a week or two, it really hits them hard. So for me, my response was just after going on social media and seeing all of my friends being in the same boat of losing so much work, and it's in normal time, then usually you can try to get another job. But now when everything is closed, you can't just become a bartender or work in a restaurant or do anything else. So I started a GoFundMe to try to help all my friends.
Very nice. And that grew into the thing that would become Live from Our Living Rooms. Tana,
Exactly.
what, logistically went into putting this together? Because you have a beautiful website. This is obviously a hub for a lot of musicians to come in and perform live from their living rooms or teach from the living rooms. So kind of what was involved in getting the team together and making sure everything was running correctly?
Well, I first have to give props to Owen because he built our website like so
It is a
quickly.
thing
I
of
mean,
beauty.
and the design. I mean, we also had some wonderful people who jumped on board in the very beginning to help us with graphics and with our logo. And it was just unbelievable how everything just kind of came together so quickly. I mean, the turnaround was, we were talking about this, mid to end of March, and the first festival that we did ran April 1st through 7th. And so logistically, when we put together all of the moving parts, including reaching out to all of the musicians who we wanted to participate, it was just very heartwarming to see that everyone cared so much about musicians like we did, and everybody wanted to help, and those who were in a more fortunate situation than others just jumped on, no questions asked. It was, it was incredible. It was just a wonderful, heartwarming experience to see how our community banded together to help each other.
Cool. Yeah. And so these were live stream concerts, again, from the musicians' living rooms, put together in, a festival format. Oh, and how, because a huge part of this were the grants, compensation for these musicians who were participating. So how did that work, collecting money and raising money that would then be used to compensate the musicians?
So, in the kind of timeline of things, Tapan started her GoFundMe, and then she and I teamed up to conceive of the festival, and then Tana was brought in, and the three of us worked together. And one of the first things that Tana put in place for us was a fiscal sponsor. Um, she works often with Music Talks, a nonprofit organization that functioned as our fiscal sponsor to facilitate the collection of tax deductible donations. So we linked the GoFundMe page that uh, Sirintip had started with Music Talks, so that every dollar that came in was tax deductible, and Music Talks very effectively managed those funds and issued the grants. Of course, with everything that's going on, there were technical challenges that delayed the distribution of those funds, but we were able to successfully raise enough to provide 65 grants to New York-based musicians.
Awesome. Yeah. And looking at the page here, just some numbers so everyone knows what a success this was. 22,000 homes reached, for this festival. 140,000 plays, which I'm sure has increased. Raised almost $60,000 for musicians. So that is awesome. Congrats to you. A huge service, obviously, for the artistic community. Now, if people wanted to watch any of these concerts, because I mean, I'm looking at the lineup. Chick Corea performed, Michael Mayo, Bill Frisell, Julian Lage, Becca Stevens, huge stars. Are they available for people to watch? And can they still contribute?
We actually made the decision to take them down, all of the replays, 2 weeks after the festival ended, because we also were very aware of the fact that these incredible musicians donated their time to us, and we didn't think it was fair to have their free material up for longer than the festival lasted. So it was basically for the life of our fundraiser. We kept everything up online, and then we took everything down, and then basically as a thank you to the musicians, we sent them their recordings.
I think that's a great call. And again, this is the way it was before all these lockdowns started. It was very much gave you the impression that you were going to see a live show. It was there. The magic happened in real time. And then it was archived in here in the memory where it's most important. There are some exciting new initiatives coming up from Live from Our Living Rooms, which we will get to in a minute. But as everyone can see, you guys are all around your instruments. You guys have your axes, your keys. Owen's got the sax, and we are going to try a little experiment here on the Jazziz Last Call, kind of like a virtual jam session through layering, and it's into the great unknown here. But we would love it. I would love to hear something from the organizers behind Live from Our Living Rooms. So live from your living rooms, we're going to be in for a real treat. Take it away whenever you are ready.
Here we go, guys.
Awesome. Just awesome. Absolutely beautiful. Kudos to all of you. I don't know if people watching understand how hard that is. You are all three in different locations. We're using an internet connection. So dealing with, I mean, we've all used Zoom. We know what it's like just to coordinate happy birthday to someone. But to make music like that is just incredible. So that was awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean,
You
I
all
have to
sounded great.
say, I cannot wait for the three of us to make music live.
In the
This is
same
actually
room.
the first time that we've ever made music because we obviously operate so well as a team.
Yes.
But we have yet to make music together. So actually, thank you for giving us the first opportunity to do that. When we were
You
talking
are
this morning about what are we going to do? You know, each of us are going to do a song, and then we thought, you know what? Let's do what we do. We're a team.
totally collaborate, make it work. I would hope so. There's a lot of chemistry here. Again, over the internet. Can't wait till we can see you live. This would be a fantastic group. So a little bit more from live from our living rooms. Before we go into what's coming up next, I want to talk about what's on the site now, what people can do. I was exploring a little earlier today. Number one, you've got also for all of the musicians who participated in the April concert, you've got a store where people can buy the merch, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And that is so important to, I tell people watching, it's time more than ever to buy the physical merchandise. You know, the t-shirts, the physical CDs, the vinyl. Artists need it more than ever. You know, streaming is one thing, but if you really want to support the artist, buy the physical merchandise. And it's great that you set up a shop where people can do that. And then, yeah. So I guess who wants to talk about what's coming up next for live from our living rooms, because you've partnered with another amazing organization. Sirintip, you want to let people know what's going on?
Sure. So it's actually already started. It's a
That's right.
partnership with the DC Jazz Festival that started on June 21st and it's running until June 29th. And we're promoting 9 days of music. It's going to be masterclasses and talks with the artists and performances. And there's one children's show. And we're so excited. It's our first partnership. We've never done anything like this before. And it's been incredible to work with, you know, such a big name and respected festival in the world. You know, it's really
Sure.
cool.
It's one of the best out there. And yeah, this is a great partnership. Owen, for people interested, can we get a sense of the program? You know, who is maybe going to be performing and what those performances may look like?
Right. So you've got master classes from some of the artists, including Warren Wolf and Dave Douglas, and evening performances. There are two sets every night for these 9 days. And some of those performances include Regina Carter, Orrin Evans, Emmett Cohen, some really phenomenal musicians that are national acts, as well as some DC-based musicians, again, to really kind of foster the community there in support of the DC area musicians who, like all of us around the country, have been affected by the pandemic.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the idea was basically that we started in New York to support New York area musicians, New York-based musicians, and then the idea to partnership with festivals or organizations who wanted to support the musicians in their surrounding area. That was kind of the idea of how we would expand. And so DC is that first opportunity, and we're so grateful to them for believing in us and believing in our vision and wanting to partner with us. And we're so happy to expand that to DC.
Awesome. And if people want to participate, if they want to view, best place to do that is just to go to the DC Jazz Festival website.
Actually, in fact, we have a Live from Our Living Rooms DC landing page where all of the events are listed. So that website is livefromourlivingrooms.com/DC Jazz Fest. And all of the events are listed there. You can click on each individual event that you're interested in, and that will bring you to the Crowdcast event page where you can watch the show.
Okay. And is it the same? Is there a cost of admission that gets you, you know, all the concerts, or you could pay per concert? Or
All shows are free admission.
all right. Hey.
And it's a fundraiser. So it's basically there's a donate button at the bottom of each page or of each video live stream, And the idea is that these musicians are participating in hopes that donations will come in to the charitable GoFundMe that's been set up by DC Jazz Fest to help give $1,000 grants to DC area musicians.
Awesome. And then it looks like you guys are just going to, keep that train going, because I'm looking at the schedule. You've got performances almost all the way through July.
We're slightly insane.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, let's see here. Starting off with Gretchen Parlato and Alan Hampton on July 1st, Rachel Z and Omar Hakim on the 2nd. You got 12 days of awesome programming here. And again, those are nightly shows, yes?
Yeah, so all of those performances and webinars are a part of our Creative Summit and Fundraiser, which starts July 1st to 12th. And besides the performances and the webinars you mentioned, we also have project spotlights that features artists who have working on different kinds of projects during quarantine. And then we have about 9 workshops a day on different instruments. And for those workshops, it's going to be on Zoom, and it's a cap of 20 people, so you can really kind of come up close with your heroes. And for some of those workshops, we had names like Eric Harland and Theo Blackman and Kurt Elling and Mikkel Zanon. So there's definitely that option of being really up close and interactive with your hero. And we hope that a lot of people sign up for those workshops.
Awesome.
And the idea that was different about this creative summit is that, since the first time around we did this fundraiser where all the artists performed for free and donated their time, and now that we've been in this quarantine for quite a while, we didn't want to set the precedent that music should be free. And people that are working should be paid for their work. So even though these events are not free, all of our webinars and performances have a base donation of $3 to enter. So if you want to check out any of them, you just pay the $3 donation, but you can pay more if you'd like. And all of our participating artists, which is the incredible thing that continues to happen as we do more and more of these projects, all of the artists have agreed to donate a portion of their revenue towards our fundraiser. So basically, the money that is made throughout those 12 days will be refunneled back into our fundraiser, and then we'll open it up for another round of grant applications. And then we're expanding that even from New York to DC to now US-based musicians. So any US-based musician can apply for that grant when we open the grant process.
Awesome. Musicians helping musicians. I love it. I was speaking with trombonist Wycliffe Gordon this morning, and he said, musicians are essential workers too, essential workers of the soul. So, it's time to support. I encourage everybody, go check out these master classes, go check out these concerts. Definitely want to tune into the DC Jazz Festival. Buy the merch, give if you can. These are the people making the art that we love. So now's the time. Before we wrap, I would just love to hear what's going on with, each of you and your own projects. Thana, I know you were just on the cover of Downbeat magazine. That was very cool.
I was.
So what is going on
timing.
with you? Yeah, exactly. What is going on with you? Where can people follow along? What's in the works?
Well, I mean, it's a very strange situation because I released a record on March 27th, just in time. And so this was supposed to be a touring year for me. I was supposed to be on tour in April. I was supposed to be on tour in the summer. I was supposed to be on tour in the fall. I'm still waiting to see whether the fall will happen or not. We're kind of waiting to see what the situation is going to be globally. But it's been difficult. I mean, I won't lie. I had put all my ducks in a row and really created this momentum for myself and my career through the making of this record and the release of this album. And so I was so looking forward to this year of touring and being able to share the music live all around the world. So it's been difficult, and it's also hard for me creatively to think about creating something new when I feel like this most recent album is still an unfinished story.
Yeah.
So that's been an interesting internal battle that I've had with myself throughout quarantine. And it's just been a learning experience. And I really feel like with Live from Our Living Rooms, it saved me during this quarantine. Saved me to be daily, in daily contact with Owen and Sirintip, who are such positive, good-hearted people, who really kept me going, and the idea of helping musicians, not because I'm in a place of, particular privilege. It's not like I have any, I mean, of course I am. I am not worried about paying my rent. I can eat and I'm surviving, and that's privilege right there. But I did lose all of my tours and my gigs, and
Right.
and so this has opened up another part of my creative brain, which allowed me to create something during the quarantine. And so I feel very grateful to Owen and Sirintip for, just making me a part of this.
Beautiful, as do we. Hearts all around. Owen, I was a big fan of your Heritage project when it came out a few years ago. And recently I have fallen down I don't know why, Bob Dylan rabbit hole, maybe because my hair's grown out or something. But so it is back on my listening list again. But anything new from you, in terms of projects you've been working on in addition to Live from Our Living Rooms?
Well, so as a solo, as a saxophonist living in quarantine, there's not a whole lot I can do with people right now, other than the kind of collaborative recording projects that so many people are involved with and creatively spearheading. One of those was a really cool project by Riley Moherkar, the trumpet player. We recreated the recording of a Brubeck fugue with a nonet, and so I'm anxiously awaiting the release of that. I hope he gets that soon. I heard a kind of a rough mix of it, and it sounds cool. My other band, Cowboys and Frenchmen, was slated to release a record in the fall, but there are some elements of that we're still working on and require us to be together. And so that's kind of been put on hold. But in the meantime, we're working on some recording projects, in this quarantine situation. And then on my own, I'm working on a woodwinds album that I can record on my own in my apartment.
Very cool. Very cool. And Sirintip, how about you?
So I was kind of lucky in a weird sense that this was not a touring year for me. I had my debut album come out in 2018 on Ground Up Music, which was called Tribus, and it was produced by Michael League. So I was touring for 2018 and 2019, and this year was my writing year. So I was already, mostly at home and writing, and I'm recording it at the beginning of next year with Michael League, who's going to produce it again. So I'm working on that record, and I'm also producing a big band record that was supposed to be recorded in a studio, but now with everything going on, we're actually going to record it in quarantine. So that's happening right after the summit.
Wow. Very cool. Exciting projects all around. And yeah, I mean, first and foremost, Live from Our Living Rooms, which I know takes up a lot of your time. So we're grateful that it does, because it's really an amazing initiative. And like I said, I encourage everyone, check out what they're doing with the DC Jazz Festival right now. And yeah, stay tuned for whatever else they have in store.
Stay tuned for our creative summit that's coming up right after. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Thana, Owen, Sirintip, thank you so much for joining me on the last call. I really appreciate it. And I will be tuning in for future Live from Our Living Room concerts.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Brian.
You're very welcome. So long, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Well, thank you to the whole crew, Thana Alexa, Owen Broder, Sirintip, for joining me today to walk us through Live from Our Living Rooms. Definitely check out what they're doing on the site. Check out what's going on with the DC Jazz Festival. Check out what they're doing with the Creative Summit. Go to the store, go buy the merch, and we'll await for all of their projects coming out later this year. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook. Just help us share the word We certainly love having you for Last Call. Speaking of Last Call, I'm going to close down the bar here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I'm Brian Zimmerman. This has been the Jazziz Last Call. So long, everyone.